Joe on the go here. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think will apply to a lot of people's situations, at least at some point in time in an individual's life. So, this can apply to people that have a loved one that has special needs. It can also apply to those that have an elderly loved one, whether that is a parent or an aunt or uncle that you're providing care for. So I didn't find out about these services until probably about a little over 3 years ago. And I had went to a meeting that I'd found out about at an adult day service building. And so went in to find out a little bit about what these services are. You would normally go through a nursing facility. You see these places kind of probably around your town, visiting angels, adaptive nursing, help at home, um, just, helping hands, just all these different kind of nursing agencies. So that would probably be my first thing I would tell you if you are interested in any of these services I'm going to mention today is to reach out to one of those places to see if they provide those services. Now, we had talked a little bit about the Medicaid waiver the last time I'd kind of got on here and talked to you guys about something. And so, with that, if your loved one is, below the age of 18, then you can't provide that care for them until they're over the age of 18. So with this, you can actually provide that care for them before they're 18. So kind of what that is first we'll talk about some of the PA hours, prior authorization, home health aid hours. So that you can probably usually get anywhere from 3 to 5 hours approved daily, probably about 7 days a week, to provide some care that you need to provide for that person that they cannot provide for themselves. And of course, it's going to be based on their age. So if, say, the individual is 2 years old and you say they can't bathe themselves, well, most 2-year-olds can't bathe themselves. So this is going to be, based kind of on that. If you would say, that your loved one is 18 years old and they can't bathe themselves, well, most 18-year-olds can bathe themselves. So that is the types of things that are considered when they are evaluating this person's needs and what they can and cannot do for themselves, age appropriate wise. So that would help to cover, you would be paid for the services to bathe the individual, things like that, cooking for the individual, helping to clean up after the bathroom, those types of self-care things. Medication reminders, brushing their hair, just some daily tasks that they cannot provide for themselves. So, if your loved one has the Medicaid waiver, the only services that they would probably qualify for right now would be those PA or those home health aid hours. Because of the Medicaid waiver, they would not be eligible for homemaking hours or attendant care hours. Those would go with more like a aged and disabled waiver or another type of waiver, that kind of thing. But since you are getting some services through that Medicaid waiver, such as respite and PAC and that kind of thing, then, you could qualify for, some of the PA home health aid hours in addition to that, just not the others that we had talked about. So now I'll explain a little bit about what homemaking hours are. So those hours allow you to go over and help a loved one with, and it can be anybody's loved one, your loved one, anybody's loved one. This is a field that they really need a lot of help in. There's not a lot of people that want to do this kind of work. So, your loved ones and other people that's needing help as well. But kind of what the homemaking hours are is that you go over and you can help that person with some light housekeeping, some daily duties, and you can run errands for that person. There's a bit of confusion there for a while, but they cannot go with you on the homemaking hours, but you can go run and get a few groceries for them or go to the pharmacy for them, that type of thing. They cannot go with you on the homemaking hours. Now, the attendant care hours, that is very, very close to homemaking hours. It's pretty much almost the same thing, except the loved one or the person that's needing the assistance, they can go with you on those errands if they're feeling up to it. They can go to the grocery store with you, the pharmacy with you. You may even be able to accompany them to some doctor's appointments. So that's kind of what those hours are. Something very important I would like to note that I was told when I was finding out about these hours is that if you yourself are interested in doing hours for a certain individual that is trying to get approved for these hours, you need to be hired by the company first. Once that individual has applied for those services, the company only has a certain amount of time to find coverage for that individual. So if they get approved for the services and you are not hired with that company yet to be able to provide those services, then they're going to have to find somebody else. And there is a bit of training. You do have to go through several hours of training. You have to get a TB test done. There's some a little bit of criteria that you have to meet to be employed and done with your training, and some medical testing and all that to make sure that you are healthy and have the knowledge to be able to go and provide care for the people that are needing this care. So if you're interested in doing that, get hired by the company first. If you're not interested in doing it, but you just need a little extra help, say, you have to go to work and your mother is needing some help during the day, you need somebody else to come over, that wouldn't be really something that you would have to worry about. You could just apply for those services and then, have someone else to come over. The company would provide another nurse to come over. You also have a nurse that comes along with this that follows up with you about every 3 months or so. They want to come and check up with you and how you're doing. And also the person that comes over to sit with you during the day, your daily person that comes over to help you with some of these duties. If they notice any odd findings, any sores, bruising, knots that come up somewhere, any falls, anything out of the ordinary, they are to contact your nurse and let them know. So you kind of have a constant nurse that follows up with you as well for, any odd things that kind of come up, anything that may be concerning. So that's really helpful to have that there for those loved ones that need some extra care and support. Something else I would like to note is we had talked in our last video where we had kind of talked about how Medicaid in itself Sometimes you needed to have that for certain services. Sometimes it made it a little more difficult, and sometimes it didn't matter. This is one of those services where it does matter. Unfortunately, I had checked on getting these services for someone that I knew that was inquiring about them. And unfortunately, this person did not have Medicaid. So, I had asked the company, I said, well, do you guys accept any other insurance? And they said, no. Well, we don't accept any other insurance. The only thing we deal with is Medicaid and straight pay. So that was unfortunate. um, Now that's one company, and maybe there are some other companies out there that will deal with other insurance that do the same type of thing. I don't know. I have not come across those. Again, just a disclaimer here, I don't know everything, and I'm just trying to give you some of the information that I have learned, and in hopes that helps you, so that you can venture down the path to find the rest of this information that hopefully will help you to have a little bit of start in this information. Hey, I just want to tell you to hang in there. Sometimes we expect that in our parents or our loved ones' elderly age that we may be put in the position to have to provide some care for them, but we never really know what that means until that time comes, or how difficult that can be for some people. And as for the parents out there, or grandparents, aunts, and uncles that are taking care of a child that has special needs, maybe that child's now turned into an adult, or they're still a child, but I bet you never imagined yourself in the position to be taking care of that child for the rest of your life. And so it's really great that these services are out there, and hopefully everyone can be kind to one another and try to be understanding that these things are very hard to navigate sometimes, very hard to know the right thing to do. Sometimes we feel a lot of guilt around trying to reach out for some of these services because we feel like that, maybe we can handle it on our own, or we're not deserving of these services, or, just the shame of reaching out for some of these services that are out there. But don't be ashamed. That this is something that's very hard for anybody that has to go through these types of situations. So let's all be kind to one another. Try to get out there and enjoy your life. Enjoy your life the best way that you can. We're going to get out and go somewhere next time. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Put peace, love, and positivity into the world. And until you go with me next time, peace and love.